Welcome to this mid-year money tapping event. Thank you so much for spending your day with me. And this should be about an hour. Sometimes we go a little bit over. It's recorded, so you can come back and watch it anytime. I really encourage audience participation. If you've tapped with me before, you know that tapping is better when we get really specific on what your needs are, what your words are, what's coming up for you. So please feel free to share. I'll just ask everyone mutes as they come in if I can't catch you in time, just so there's no feedback. You're welcome. Thanks for doing this. It's so needed. You're so welcome. So I do have a PDF that I've created. This will also go out to you via email afterwards. So don't worry if you're moving through and you're like, I missed a journal prompt or something, you will get it all after. All right, so let's all begin by just taking a collective breath together. I know to get to these calls, we have schedules to work around and kids and work and all the things. So I invite you just to start by settling into your body, connecting to your breath. Just making sure I'm muted. If someone's not muted, if they can go ahead and mute themselves, I think we're all good. Go ahead, connect to your breath. You can get comfy in your body. You can shake it out, roll your shoulders up and back. We're going into some brave conversations today. I know money can be an emotional topic. It can be a topic that brings up feelings in our body, and that's okay. You're in a safe space today to let those feelings come out, to let those feelings move through, and to express them. You know, EFT means emotional freedom techniques. And if there's any icky energy around money, if there's any avoidance around money, we need to work together today using this brilliant tool of EFT. If you are new to tapping with me, I would love it if you just put one in the chat. If you've never tapped with me before, just put one in the chat. For those of you that have never tapped with me before or tapped before, it's like a game of Simon Says. So I tap and say something and you tap and copy me. And if you're like, I'm scared I'm going to miss a step, don't worry. It's more about getting into the feeling. And I have other classes that you can go through if you want to learn more about EFT. But I'll do my best. I'm going to walk you through step by step when it comes to tapping. Janet, it's your first time. Awesome. Welcome to the community. I'm so glad that you're here. And all right, I'm going to just start. We're just going to dive in. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Oh my gosh, there's so many people coming. Welcome, everyone. Do my best to let everyone at the same time. So the mid-year money tapping, I decided to do this because I did this myself. Last weekend, I just spent a few days, like taking a mid-year moment to check in on where I'm at in my body, where I'm at in my relationships, where I'm at in my health, and where I'm at with my money. And when you look at your money, magic can happen, but getting to that point can often bring up some uncomfortable feelings. And so I took myself through my own session. I also did shout out to Natalia Benson. If you don't follow her on Instagram, I highly recommend it. She also did a mid-year money. She's an astrologist. She did like a mid-year money workshop. So I did that and I thought, you know what, this would be so great if we had some tapping to it. So here we are, we're tapping together today. My intention for you is that by looking at, talking about, and tapping on your money, you're going to experience a quantum leap in the flow of your money. And that's exactly what happened to me. You know, I did this mid-year check-in and then boom, this week has been like magic, money flowing in all these different ways in my business, in my life, and other ways. And one of the things that Natalia said on her workshop was, if you don't give money a job, it will give you a job. And so I really encourage you that, you know, if you're like, oh, I don't feel very organized in this area, or I feel like I'm working for money, money's not working for me, that's okay. This is your mid-year reset. This is your opportunity to take a look at your income, take a look at your debt, take a look at what has worked this year, take a look at what hasn't, and to make some moves in this next 6 months. A lot can happen in 6 months. And one of my goals is that as you move towards this end of year goal, we make micro goals that feel really good to your nervous system. So it's not such a big leap, right? It's not so intense on the body. So to end with my intention, my goal and my intention is that by tapping with me, it will create a wave of abundance throughout the rest of your year, and magic. We make money magic happen. All right. So I invite you to just take a moment to set your own money intention today and share it in the chat if you want, or just write it down. What is your intention for yourself by taking this time to look at your money? So I'll just give you a moment, tune in. What is my intention by doing this mid-year money tapping for myself? And like I said, feel free to share it in the chat if you want. That your intentions might be that you get some clarity. Your intentions, it could be that, the debt that you're holding on to, you start to feel differently around. You see that start to shift. Your intention could be that you create more money. Go ahead, take a moment, set your intention now. Awesome. I'm seeing some intentions come through to organize my money and get beyond my block there and creating a whole new level of constant income flow. Awesome. Thank you, Katrin. So there feels like there's a bit of a block around organizing your money. So hoping that setting the intention that today that block is going to shift, it's going to move, and that you're going to feel a lot more confidence with it. Awesome. Jamie, clear your blockages that may keep you from meeting my goal for the rest of the year. I love that. And if you want to share what your goal is for the rest of the year, you're welcome to do that too. If you want to declare that, you're welcome to share it here. I need to spend more time thinking before spending and save more, Karen. I love that. My intention is to feel freedom with money and ease and an abundant flow, more coming in than going out. Awesome. To view my current state of finance as an opportunity, and that there will always be a flow going forward. I love that, Sandra. Yes, there is always a flow going forward. More is always on the way. To see the joy of working towards my net worth goal. Yeah, letting there be joy in your money goal. I love that. Let it be fun. My intention is to welcome the flow of money and feel worthy of it. I love that. To become clear on how much I would like to attract in from my upcoming online classes. Karen, what a great goal, very specific. And we're going to get to a piece of that today too. My intention is to get more clarity into expansion. I want to take my business to the next level, Anna. Yeah, I want to clear my path. I want to clear my path into growth. I want to feel more comfortable receiving bigger amounts of money. Oh, I love this intention, investing them into growth and expansion. I want to release my fears around losing everything. Ooh, this is powerful. And Alexis, redefining my financial foundation so I can build a better financial future and reality. Thank you, thank you, thank you for sharing these. Awesome. All right, now that we're rooted into our intentions, I'm going to start to introduce some of the affirmations that I have for today. One of the affirmations is that my money goals are more accessible and achievable than I realized. And when I sat down last weekend to do this, that's exactly what happened for me. I was like, oh, wait a second. I now that I know where I'm at and know what I need to do next, I can break this down and I can see my money goals are more achievable than I realized. So you can go ahead and write that down if you want. My money goals are more achievable than I realized. I love seeing these comments come in. Keep them coming. All right, so a couple affirmations that we'll work with today. The first one is that it feels good to look at my money. And money is like any relationship. You've probably heard this before. But if money was a best friend and you weren't looking at your best friend or talking to your best friend or checking in with your best friend, there's going to be a bit of a rocky relationship. And so my intention today is that we will help your body feel good looking at money, and that it'll be something that you can look forward to. The other affirmation is I find creative ways to create more money when I spend time with it. So as you start to look at your money, ideas are going to flow to you. You're like, ooh, what if I price this at that? Or what if I did this thing. So I find creative ways to create more money when I spend time with it. Tracking my money is making it multiply. So I'll be clear, I am not a money management expert. Sarah Penfold, is a client of mine. She has a great program called Sacred Wealth. If you're looking for something to help you manage and track your money, I love her work. Megan Hale is also someone I recommend for tracking your money. But these affirmations we can tap on and work with today. So tracking my money is making it multiply. My money goals are more accessible and achievable than I realize. Managing my money makes my dreams come true. This is a good one because we all have big dreams. We all have clear goals. But if we're not talking with or tapping on our money, then that's going to slow down that process. And then micro money goals are something I celebrate. So if any of these stick out or you have a favorite one, I'd love for you to just put it in the chat. You can go ahead, put your favorite one in the chat, or if there's a money affirmation that you have and you love, you can feel free to put that in the chat too. We will do our best to incorporate them. And we might not tap on every single one of these, but I wanted to plant these here for you to start to sit on, to think about. I'm going to check the chat for a moment. You love the first one. Awesome. It feels good to look at my money. I love that one too, Emily. One that you've created and you teach is my money is a queen like me. I love that. Great affirmation. My favorite money affirmation is money loves me and flows. Oh, I can't see this other piece. Flows easily to me. Awesome. I love it. Feels good to look at my money. Also the one I feel the highest resistance to though. Okay, Katrin, awesome. Thank you for sharing these. So we're going to start with the body. We're going to start with the affirmation that it feels good to look at my money. And I heard Kate Northrup say this yesterday, body before business. And this is exactly what we're all about in EFT. We work a lot with the body. We use the body as a guide, and it will inform your next move. It'll inform deeper healing that might need to be done in this area. So before we dive in and look at your money, let's check in with your body. So I'm going to give you a moment to, as long as you're not driving and you're in a safe place to do so, just to close your eyes and tune in. I like to have my feet on the floor, but it's wherever you're most comfortable with. Rolling your shoulders up and back, opening up your heart and chest. And just begin by taking a few deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. Again, breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. And with your eyes closed and you're tuning into your body, I want you to just thinking about looking at your money, thinking about sitting down, spending time with it, tracking it, looking at the details. I want you to notice if there's any resistance, if there's any fear, if there's any discomfort that shows up in your body. Noticing how high that is on a scale of 0 to 10. And then just noticing why. Why is that there? What is that all about? So this could be when I think about looking at my money or sitting down and working with my money, I feel avoidant, or I feel anxious, or I feel resistant. I feel afraid. I feel it in my chest or in my stomach or in my head. And on a scale of 0 to 10, if 0 is it's not no fear at all, and 10 is it's really high, maybe it's about an 8. So if you want to go ahead and just type in the chat where your number's at, what you're feeling, that would be really helpful for me, because the numbers really depict what kind of language we use in tapping and where everyone's at. So go ahead and do that now. I'll give you a moment just to share where it is in your body, what's the feeling, and how high is it on a scale of 0 to 10. Throat, chest, and neck, it's between a 7 and 8, and it's an old belief that I won't get what I want. Oh, great tuning in, Katrin. My back and oddly my throat, it feels like it's a 7. Okay. There's an 8 of shame in my solar plexus, a 6 of anxious and disappointment in your chest and throat. Yes, resistance is an 8. It's in your stomach. You feel tired, disconnected from your body, and fear, and fear. So there's a 7, an 8, and a 4. Great tuning in these specific areas. It's in your ear, Amanda. Awesome. Okay, it's a 7. 5, and it's in your throat. 8, depleted. Awesome. Okay, thank you for sharing these. I know it's not awesome feelings, but it's awesome information for me to have. So thank you for being open to share. There's sadness, there's disappointment, there's tightness in your stomach. It feels like a push and pull around money, some resistance to get really into it, but a lot of motivation and inspiration to push through it and get hella abundant. I love that. Feels like it's a 6. It's the back of my legs and my belly. Okay, disappointment, anxious. Okay, so this is really important. This is our starting point for tapping. If you're between an 8 and a 10, then you're at a point where you might need to really vent. You're like, I'm really worried. I'm really afraid. I'm afraid I'll be disappointed. You need to like really get out your feelings, or I really don't want to look at it. And looking at it makes me feel sick to my stomach. It's not going to be good. If your number's between a 4 and a 7, it's a stage that tells me in your subconscious mind is it's ready to let go. You're like, it's uncomfortable. And even though I don't want to do it, I'm ready to move forward. I'm ready to let this go. I'm ready to break through this now. If your number is between a 0 and a 3, it means that your subconscious mind is primed and prepped for affirmations. You actually don't have a lot of resistance to looking at your money, and you're like, you're ready. You're like, let's dive in. So wherever you're at, the language is going to change a little bit, but I'm going to start at the top. I'm number 10. Everyone's really high between a 7 or an 8 and a 10 and do some venting. Then I'm going to do another round. We're going to go into some releasing. And then at the end, we're going to do some affirmations. Okay. So that's just a little bit of tapping education for you. You feel lack. I'm just reading some of these words. So lack, it feels awful. It feels like there's never enough. There's anxiety, disappointment, push and pull. All right, so I think I've got a pulse, depleted. There's not enough. Okay, I just needed to get a pulse of where everyone was at. Thank you for trying. So we're going to start by tapping now. We're going to tap on the side of the hand. I'm actually going to just stop sharing so everyone can see me, and I'm going to change the view. So hopefully, where is it? I'm just going to try and make myself the speaker in the front. Okay, so everyone can see. So we're going to start by tapping on the side of the hand. And if you're new to tapping, it's like a game, as Simon says. You're going to just say what I say and do what I do. So tap on the side of the hand and say, even though I am going to sit down and look at my money today, this brings up all sorts of feelings for me. And that's okay. I love and accept myself anyway. Even though I have these feelings about money. And they're in my body. I love and accept myself anyway. Even though it's time for me to sit down and have a good look at my money, there's some resistance here. There's some fear. And I love and accept myself anyway. Let's go to the top of the head and say, looking at my money Eyebrow point brings up all sorts of feelings. Side of the eye. I'm afraid I'm going to be disappointed. Underneath the eye. I won't like what I see. Underneath the nose. What if it's worse than what I thought? Underneath the mouth. There's a part of me that just doesn't want to do it. Collarbone point. I can feel this resistance in my body. Tapping underneath the arms. This part of me that doesn't want to look at my money. Underneath the chest. Looking at my money makes me feel anxious. Wrist point. Sometimes I'd rather just avoid it. Top of the head. I notice all these feelings in my body now. Eyebrow point. This fear of being disappointed. Side of the eye. This desire to avoid and do something else. Underneath the eye. These old beliefs that are showing up. Underneath the nose, this anxiety in my body. Underneath the mouth that I've been feeling around money. Collarbone point. I acknowledge it now. Underneath the arms, and I'm open. Underneath the chest, I'm open to letting some of these feelings go. All right, so go ahead, take a deep breath. Great job. Celebrate yourself. I know it's not easy at the beginning. And I want you to check back in now. You can close your eyes, tune back in. Now, when I think about looking at my money on a scale of 0 to 10, where is my number at now? Has it went up? Has it went down? Has it stayed the same? And these feelings that come up for me when I think about looking at my money, have they moved? Have they changed? Has it gotten bigger? Has it gotten less? Has it shifted to somewhere else in my body? So go ahead and share in the chat right now what your numbers are. And if you could share it went up or went down, like if it was an 8, it went down to a 7, or let me know, or just say it went down a little bit. I'm at a 6 now. Go ahead and share it in the comments. Okay, so it's a 6, a 4, a 6. It was an 8 at first. It stayed at a 7. It was like an 11 or a 10 down to a 4. Wow, huge jump. It went down to a 4 from a 6. Okay, 8 to a 6. It went up to a 6. Okay, so stuff's coming up. It's like, ooh, there's more here. So if it's went up or stayed the same, ask yourself, what else is here that I really need to get out? What else is here that I really need to say, that I really need to acknowledge, that I've been avoiding? Okay, so take a moment. If your number has went up or stayed the same, what else is here? Even if it hasn't, you're like, okay, what else is here for me? Is there something that's surfacing or standing out for me right now? Felt like it was a 6 or a 7, went down to a 3 or 4. Wow, amazing. So these numbers are shifting. The tapping is working. Awesome. Okay, so we're going to keep tapping. Shifted to a headache and into my solar plexus. It shifted to a 6 or a 7. Yeah, okay. So again, if you're having sensations like, oh, it's in my head or it's in my gut, this is your body responding and being like, oh, you're talking to me. Oh, we're doing this now. So it's going to start to move some energy. You might feel like, oh, there's some tension in my head. You can tap through that. Oh, talking about money's brought all this tension in my head. It's tense talking about money. It makes my body feel tense. The body is most likely stored some feelings about it. And now that you're tapping with it, it's like talking to the body and it's like, oh, let's make some moves. Let's start to let this go. Okay. I'm willing to look at it. I just push it down, push it away for some reason. Okay, so let's tap again on the side of the hand. You're doing a great job. And say, even though looking at my money is bringing up some big feelings, it's time for me to acknowledge these feelings now and to start letting them go. Even though I've been moving forward, doing the best that I can. I've had some feelings about money. And instead of pushing them away, I'm going to give myself permission to acknowledge them, to feel them, and to start letting them go. Even though my body has been holding on to these feelings about money, I give my body permission to start releasing them now. It's safe for me to start letting these go. Top of the head. All these feelings I've had about money. Eyebrow point. All these thoughts I've had about money. Side of the eye. All these beliefs that I've had about money. Underneath the eye. I'm going to give myself permission to look at them today. Underneath the nose, to examine them. Underneath the mouth, to feel them. Collarbone point, to rewrite them. Underneath the arms, and to start letting them go. Tapping underneath the chest. I give myself permission today. Wrist point, to step into a powerful place. Top of the head, to step into a powerful relationship with my money. Eyebrow point, to look at it. Side of the eye, to work with it. Underneath the eye, and to move through any discomfort now. All right, so go ahead, take a deep breath. I want you to tune back in. Close your eyes again. Tune back in and ask yourself, when I think about looking at my money, on a scale of 0 to 10, what number is my rating at now? Where do I feel it in my body? And has anything changed? And hopefully what's starting to happen, one of the things that I see when I've tapped with money or tapped with clients on money, is a relationship to money and our power. Oftentimes money can feel like this big, scary thing that's bigger than us, and it's more powerful than us. And nothing is more powerful than you. And when you start to tap on this topic, you start to take your power back and you see, ooh, I have agency, I have power, I can have control over this relationship. And if you're not there yet, that's okay. We'll get there. But I'm curious what numbers you're at now, and if it has stayed the same, if it's had went up, went down. It stayed the same, it's a 4, it's in my solar plexus. Okay, so if it's stayed the same, one of the questions, and my tapping school students know this question, what's left in that 4? What's left in that 5, or what's left in this number? What's the one thing that's really standing out for me in this conversation about money? And it could be a belief, it could be a feeling like, oh, I'm just really afraid there's just not going to be enough, or oh, I'm just so tired of the same old story. You'll hear me say this over and over again, but the secret to success in tapping is in the specifics. Whatever is left for you in that number is the thing that I would recommend you tap on. That's the belief you need to rewrite. That's the feeling you need to go into. Obviously, this is a group session, so I can't go into every single person's thing, but that's just a little tip that you can tap on your own at home. Was a 7? No. 4, it's gone, and it's now in my gut. Okay, and ask yourself, like, what is in my gut around money? What is still there? And sometimes the other question we ask when tapping with the body is, how long has this feeling been there around money? How long has this feeling been there around money? And when did it begin? When did I first start feeling this way? And this is a conversation that gets into more of an advanced tapping session, but that's going to be a really big key to getting to the root of the limiting beliefs that you need to work through. So much yawning, like a 2 or 3, and I'm feeling more powerful though. Awesome. So yawning is a great sign when tapping. That means our nervous system is shifting. Thank you for sharing that. Or tears, or feeling really tired all of a sudden. It's like, ooh, well, the body's like, okay, you're working with me. It's responding. It's 2. It went down a little from a 3. Awesome. I moved from an 8 to a 6. Now it's a 3 or a 4. I'm excited to start watering my relationship, like watering my garden with money. I love it. Yes. Lots of yawning. I started a 6. Now I'm at a 4. Dropped to a 4. Now it's a 2. I've definitely been yawning a lot. So awesome. These are great jumps. If you're down to those lower numbers, it means you're ready for affirmations. Oh my gosh, there's so many comments. Thank you. I could dive into each of these. What's left is some heaviness in my heart. I think it's ancestral guilt around being responsible for self and others. So when we get down to the lower numbers, this is where you'll start to use choice statements in tapping. So I choose to let this guilt around money go. I choose to let this fear around money go. I choose to let this story around money go. I choose to let this anxiety around money go. So what choice statement would feel right for you at this point? I choose to, or it could also go, I choose to feel powerful about money now. I choose to look at my money now and love myself through it. So this is where we would create some choice affirmations. And if you have one come to mind, you can feel free to share it. I'm going to tap through and give you some as well. So 4 or 5 is left. What if it doesn't? What if it won't happen? I'll be disappointed. Will I feel like a failure? This began as a teenager and I'm in my mid-70s, Annie. Okay. So one of the things that we talk a lot about in tapping school, for those of you that are in tapping school, is parts of self-work. And when I'm tapping with someone on money and I ask, like, how long has this been there? Where did it come from? There's often a core memory that's connected to, or an earlier time in your life. And that part of self is actually who we end up tapping with, because you today has probably done money work. You've read books, you've listened to podcasts, you've done all sorts of things, but our subconscious brain can't tell time. And so if there is a younger version of you that witnessed something about money, that learned something about money, it's like a movie that's on repeat. It's like that part of you is still playing. And that part of self, it's like giving this part of you a voice, this younger you that was, a teenager that learned that you have to work hard for money. So that's a more advanced style of tapping, but I just wanted to educate you on it, because if you did want to do deeper money work like that, that is available, obviously outside of the session, but that's where I would go if we were working together one-on-one. I could curl up and go to sleep in front of a fire right now. It's a sense of safety versus unsafety around money. Wow, that's a beautiful, beautiful shift. So let's do one more round, and then we're going to go into some action steps. So we're tapping again on the side of the hand and say, even though looking at my money and working with it brings up some old feelings and beliefs. I choose to love and accept myself anyway. Even though looking at and working with my money brings up these feelings in my body. I choose to start releasing them now. And I'm ready to feel differently now. Even though I'm so used to feeling a certain way about money. Things are changing today. And I'm ready to introduce new feelings now. Top of the head. I used to feel a certain way about money. Eyebrow point. I used to feel anxious or afraid. Side of the eye. I used to feel avoidant or constantly disappointed. Underneath the eye, but things are changing today. Underneath the nose, things are changing right now. Underneath the mouth, I am introducing a new feeling into my body. Collarbone point, a new feeling about money now. Underneath the arms, what if looking at my money underneath the chest could be a fun experience? Tapping on the wrist, what if looking at my money top of the head actually made me feel really calm? Eyebrow point, what if looking at my money side of the eye made me feel powerful? Underneath the eye, I'm introducing my body. Underneath the nose to the possibility. Underneath the mouth that looking at my money, collarbone point, and working with my money underneath the arms could feel really, really good. Okay. You can stop tapping and take a deep breath. So right here, right now, we are introducing to your body this new idea. What if looking at your money became one of the funnest activities you did all month? What if looking at your money brought so much peace and clarity and calm? So what you're doing right now is really important and really powerful because I believe that your body has to be on board with who you're becoming. This is one of the core things I teach in my mastermind, that your body has to be on board with who you're becoming. And if you have money goals, but your body is just like, oh, that just feels too big, that feels too, there's too much resistance, like we're not on the same page, it's just you're not gonna move. It's just this internal tug of war. So what we're doing right now is we're saying, hey body, we're going to introduce a new feeling into every cell of your being today. What if looking at my money could feel fun? What would that feel like in my body? Like, ooh, I get excited. I get some energy through my cells. What if looking at my money was like, oh, it feels so good. Like I know where I'm at. I feel powerful. I feel clear. So I'm going to invite you now to check in with your number on a scale of 0 to 10. What number are you at now when it comes to looking at or working with your money? And what are some of the thoughts or feelings coming up? You can go ahead and type it in the chat. Has really come down to a 2. Awesome. I feel no resistance at all. I feel kind of excited about it. 2.5, I'm still tired but connected and peaceful, from a 4 down to a 2. Amazing. 1, I feel I'm feeling desire to look at my money. Yay, amazing. I'm feeling like making room for my money in my body and life. It's bringing in love. Yes. I feel some uncertainty, but also inspired and excited and determined to change. Beautiful. Awesome. Okay. So in tapping, like I always say, there's no right or wrong answer. You can be whatever number, whatever space that you're at. We just use the numbers as a guide to know, okay, for 1, the tapping's working. And 2, what words do we need to be saying? What statements do we need to be using? So awesome. Now that we're down, I'm going to go back and I'm going to go ahead and keep moving along in our practice. So this is really the chunk of this whole free experience, was like, let's tap on our money. And as I mentioned, like, I'm not a money management expert, but I am a tapping expert. And so if this is something this is something you could incorporate into your week or into your month, try coming back to this practice. Like, before you sit down with your money or look at it, just give yourself the space to do a little bit of tapping, to acknowledge some of the feelings that are there, to say them, to be like, I don't really want to do this. This is annoying. Or I'm afraid I'll be disappointed. Like, give yourself the space to get that out before you come and you look at your money. All right, so we tapped on we didn't get to that part. I was going to tap on avoidance and fear, but I think we're going to skip over to looking at your money now. So managing my money makes my dreams come true. This is one of the other affirmations I wanted to work with today. And now it's time to take a look. Now that your nervous system is feeling grounded and ready, I'm going to invite you to just journal on these few key points. So number 1, what is your current monthly income? And if you don't know it exactly to a T, just take a guess. Take a guess of what your current monthly income is and write that down. All right, so once you've written that down, or you have an idea of what that is, I want you to think about, out of the past 6 months, sorry, did I write down, out of the past 6 months, which month, it was supposed to say, was your best money month? So out of the past 6 months, which month was your best money month and why? And then which one was your lowest? So if you're already tracking your money, you can go in and look, or you can just guess. You're like, oh, I think I had a pretty good month in whatever, January or March or whatever it was. And if I was to guess, my lowest month was probably this one. And these are just to give you clarity, because there's that famous saying that success leaves clues. If you had a higher month, you can look at, well, what was I doing in the month? Can I duplicate that? Can I do that again? Can I recreate that? And which month was your lowest? Well, what was going on that month? Maybe you were traveling, or maybe you had something unexpected come up. And just gathering information right now. And then looking at debt. Do you have any debt? If so, how much? And how do you feel about that number? I actually think this is a moment where I think we're going to do a little bit of tapping as well. And if you don't know that number, again, just taking a guess. Jamie says, June has been my highest month. Awesome, Jamie. Do you know what you did that created June being your highest month? And success leaves clues. So what you do. Awesome. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. And then the other few questions is just, how is your business doing? If you're in business, not everyone is, that's fine. How is your career doing? How is whatever, however you want to phrase this? What's it generating and what does it need? So how's your business doing? What is it generating right now? And what does it need? And this question for me, as I mentioned, I did my own mid-year money tapping a few days ago. It gave me so much clarity. I was like, oh, my business is doing this, this, and this. And I didn't add it in this piece. I think it's in a future part, but what is my goal for the next 6 months? Right? So how is my business doing? What's it generating? What does it need? And what is my goal for the next 6 months? And this is where, when you take a look at your numbers, you can see either, okay, I need to get creative and come up with some new offers, or I need to, look at which offers did really well, re-offering those, right? Knowing that, give yourself permission. If something worked, you can turn around and do it again. You don't have to wait a year or whatever it is. Like, look at what works, look at what isn't working, and what's needed. And I spent probably a good 2 hours on these questions alone. So I'm just leaving these here with you. You can go through these at your own pace. But this is, I know it's uncomfortable, but this is pretty much the most important part of the mid-year money tapping moment, because this is where you're gonna see some ahas, some insights. We need more sales. Okay, how do you feel about needing more sales, Anna? Does that feel like clear? I know what to do, or does it feel like, oh, I need to write down some ideas? So if you're like, oh, I need more sales and I don't know how to do that, write down 10 to 30 possible ways you could create more sales. All right, these are very practical steps, but it's like, I could sell this. Ooh, I could do that. I could get your brain working for you and with you to create the solutions that you're looking for. I'm just going to pause and ask, does anybody want to tap on debt? I'm conscious of our time. I do have quite a few more things to share, but if you really want to tap on debt, then we can take the next bit of time to tap on that. I feel like that could be a whole other class, honestly. We could do a whole other 60 to 90 minutes on debt. Yes, you'd like to tap on debt. Okay. And I feel very excited about needing more sales, because I'm taking that department. I'm getting creative and giving myself permission to enjoy it. I love it. I'm excited for you. Share any ideas about getting more sales that you want. We are here. We're cheering you on. Okay. So a few people would like to tap on debt. Well, let's just do a round on debt. And yeah, I think my intuition is just saying, let's just take a moment to do that right now. So if you know your number, how much debt you have, you can write it down and do the same thing we just did. So when I look at this number, whatever, writing down the amount that you owe, I feel what in my body. So when I look at my debt, I feel anxious in my body. I feel frustrated. What do you feel in your body? And how high is it on a scale of 0 to 10? And there might be, even after tapping has some magic to it. You also might have a level of acceptance. You might be like, my anxiety is not that high around it. I have a level of acceptance. Like, I don't love it, but I feel like it's possible to move through it. I'm open to creative ideas and solutions. So go ahead, share in the chat. How do you feel in your body when you look at your debt, and what is the number on a scale of 0 to 10? Low, heavy, defeated. It's in your heart, your second chakra. It feels like a 4 or 5. I feel frustrated by it, but I also don't stew on it too much. It's probably a 4. I feel anxious, a 7. I feel my back. Okay, thank you. So these numbers and this info is helpful. Frustrated and anxious, it's a 5. Okay, so let's dive in. Let's just do a couple rounds of tapping on this right now. 10, heavy, defeated, heart, frustrated. Okay, so we're going to tap again on the side of the hand. And even if you don't have any debt, It's called borrowing benefits. You can tap with us anyway and borrow the benefits of the tapping itself. So tapping on the side of the hand, you're going to say, even though I have this debt, and looking at it brings up some feelings for me. I love and accept myself anyway. Even though I have this debt. And right now I don't like it. I love and accept myself anyway. Even though I have this debt. And I've made it mean all sorts of things. I've made it mean all sorts of things about myself, about my money, and about what's possible for me. I love and accept myself anyway. Let's go to the top of the head and say, this debt that I have. Eyebrow point, all this debt. Tapping on the side of the eye, this debt and all the feelings it brings up for me. Tapping underneath the eye, I feel anxious. Underneath the nose, I feel frustrated. Underneath the mouth, I feel heavy and defeated. Collarbone point, and I can feel it in my body. Underneath the arms, all this heaviness around debt. Underneath the chest, all these stories around debt. Wrist point, I'd like to begin letting them go. Top of the head, what if I could see this debt differently? Eyebrow point, what if it doesn't need to stay this way forever? Side of the eye, what if there are possibilities available to me? Underneath the eye, I don't know about that. Underneath the nose, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be stuck with this debt forever. Underneath the mouth, there's a part of me that doesn't want to let this debt, this belief about debt go. Collarbone point, but I'm open to new possibilities now. Underneath the arms, new ways of clearing this debt. Underneath the chest are becoming available to me. All right, so take a deep breath. Good job. So I could tap on debt, like debt is a deep topic, and I could honestly tap on it for the next 90 minutes. We did one round on it, but I want you to just check in now on a scale of 0 to 10. How do I feel when I look at this debt? Has my number changed at all? Again, this is a complex, deep topic, so I don't expect it to be like completely gone, but hopefully you did feel a shift. Wow, Annie, awesome. You went from a 7 down to a 3. Great. What feels different for you now? Solid 4, a little down, not as heavy. Drop to a 1, amazing. I have faith that I can pay it off. So this in Jana's, as using her as an example, this is where your subconscious mind is primed for an affirmation. I have faith I can pay off this debt. There's ways I can pay off this debt. It is possible for me to pay off this debt. I am attracting new ways and new solutions and new people to help me pay off this debt now. I am learning new systems. I am attracting more money. I am seeing things differently. This is where you really want to spend some time tapping into affirmation. So that's just an example. Like I said, I could spend more time on this. I went from a 7 down to a 4. You're yawning and more relaxed. During the session, I transferred money onto my debt, and it's smaller than it's been in years. And I feel really happy about it. Wow, I'm proud. Let's all celebrate Tara. Yay, Tara. That's awesome. I'm celebrating you. A 10 down to a 4, Symphony, and I was yawning a lot. Okay. Well, I'm going to keep going. Debt. I was going to do a class one time calling making debt not a big deal, because money is an emotional topic, and debt is something that it can feel. I remember one time I was tapping with a client. She's like, debt feels like a grizzly bear that's constantly chasing me. And again, another example of money feeling more powerful than ourselves. And when we're able to stop, tap on it, look at that grizzly bear, she's like, oh, all of a sudden the bear shrunk. I'm seeing creative ways. Like, it doesn't have to be this way forever. And her debt cleared. It took a few months, but she, then started attracting the right resources and the right people to help her clear that. So tapping is incredible. I'm so proud of you for looking at it today. And let's keep going with the rest of our class. So I'm going to share screen again. And so go ahead, you'll get these after, but take some time to do this for yourself. If you didn't have time to fill it all out, come back to it later. The next affirmation, I find creative ways to create more money. This is where we're going to start to have some fun. So time to get creative. Instead of money making you feel small or frozen or limited, what if money could inspire clarity, ideas, and generate new income and growth? So we just did this at the beginning, right? We are introducing a new sensation into your body when it comes to the topic of money. What if looking at your money could be really fun? Like, wow, I realized that I'm actually, things aren't as bad as I was making them out to be in my mind. And it feels so good. I feel so much calmer knowing where I'm at, where I need to go. And I feel powerful. I feel like I can make a plan now. So after looking at your money, what clarity do you have? After looking at your numbers, what clarity do you have? And do you have any inspired ideas on how you could create more? And I want you to write them down. There's a great exercise I learned from Kyle Cease. It's called 100 Possibilities. And it's just free writing 100 ways, creating 100 inspired ideas about how you could create more money. I actually did this earlier this week. And one of the ways was like, I could sell some of the furniture I have, because I had 2 homes before and I have sort of like doubles of everything. I'm like, I've been holding on to it. Maybe I should just sell it. I created over $1,000 in one day just from I was just one of the ideas I wrote down. I'll just like post some of these random things. And they were the most random things. And they sold like hotcakes. And I was like, well, that was cool. This was just a fun, inspired idea. I want you to, there's no right or wrong here. Really let your imagination go wild. What inspired ideas do you have about creating more money? You can also get detailed. For me, I was like, I had 3 very clear projects that I knew I could create in the next 3 months that would help me hit micro goals to my big goal at the end of the year. So this can be fun, inspired ideas, or this can also be very specific goals. Like, I'm going to get that course out that I said I was going to do. Right? Or I'm just going to put the workshop idea that I had out there. That's how I did this. I put one line on Facebook. Anyone want to do a mid-year money tapping ? It can be that simple, that spontaneous, that fun. And if you want to share any of your creative ideas, you can go ahead and share them in the chat. The other prompt I use for this, so there's the 100 possibilities, like, I could do this, I could do that. The other prompt that I love for this is what ifs. What if I did do my own money class? What if, and that's what I did. I did a money class with Natalia Benson, which I highly recommend. It was awesome. And then I was like, You know what would make this class great is if there was tapping in it. What if I did my own money class? Let's do my own money tapping class. So what ifs can change the game for your business, can change the game for your money, can change the game for your financial reality. And that's one of the message I really wanted to get across today, is that our money can change fast when we take the time to focus on it. When what you focus on expands. Your money wants you to look at it. It wants you to talk to it. It wants you to tap with it. It wants to help you. It's creative, it's powerful, and you are too. So feel free, if you want to share any of your creative ideas, go ahead and share them. And now finally, we're going to talk about micro money goals. Micro money goals are something I celebrate. Let this be your intention for the next 6 months. If you have this big goal for the end of the year, break it down into 3 micro money goals. So, where would you love to be by the end of the year? What are 3 micro money goals you can set up to help you get there? And you could also do this, by the month. Like, so say I want to be making $30,000 a month. So maybe my first micro money goal is $5,000 a month. Or my first micro money goal is $10,000 a month. And then my next one is 20. And then my next one is 30. Okay, so that's that's the way I did it. It was like, okay, what's my monthly income goal? What's my big monthly income goal by December? And then what are the steps leading up to that, right? So what's a couple micro goals along the way? And if you want to share your numbers, you're welcome to. You don't have to, right? Or you can share your first micro money goal. And this again is where let your creativity come in. Okay, my first micro money goal is to have a $10,000 month. Let's write 100 possibilities of how that could happen. I could run a workshop. I could offer one-on-ones. I could put the course out that I was going to do. I could sell some old stuff that I had. You can write down all the different ways that can happen. And then what are 3 money habits you're willing to adopt to help you achieve that goal, to help you reach that goal? So a big one for me is looking at my money every week and tracking my money. And then the third one for me is talking about my money regularly, because what I've noticed is where I get stuck is when I go into any sort of shame cycles of silencing myself or avoidance. There's different attachment styles, and those attachment styles apply to money. There's secure, avoidant, and anxious. And mine, the default has always been avoidant. Like, oh, I'll get to it later. Oh, I'll look at it later. So if I'm having conversations about money weekly, thankfully I have a great CFO and bookkeepers that I have conversations with, but this can just be with a friend. This could be with your partner. Like, I am choosing to talk about money once a week with someone I love that feels safe for me to talk about. In the next 6 months, I want to create another 320,000 USD, and I'm planning how to break it down. Yay, Jamie! I'm celebrating you. It's once you start breaking it down, you see how doable it is. Because to their nervous system, 320,000 can be like, whoa, that's a big number. But when you break down these micro money goals, what's my first step to getting there? What are some potential ways to make it happen? That's when the universe starts working with you. That's also where that's where manifesting comes in, because you're not just like, oh, I'm just going to put it out there and hope it happens. I mean, I've done that many times and it's worked, but I'm going to put it out there, hope it happens. And I'm also going to participate in the creation of this. I'm also going to take some steps to make this come about. My first money goal is 10K a month. Awesome. So planting that seed today. My first money goal is 10K a month, and I'm going to write down 10 creative ideas or ways that could happen. And once you start this, you'll see there's a momentum that happens when you actually do this exercise. Your inspired action will come in. There's going to be these weird little nudges you're going to get throughout the next few days. It's going to be like, reach out to that person, do that post, connect with that old course that you did once. It's going to be these like weird little dings. Talk to your team about this thing. There's going to be these weird little like nudges that you're going to get, and you have just sparked a momentum of creating money. Love these. My first money goal, 100% agree. You've seen it. I want to sell in the next 6 months, $1 million USD. Anna. Oh, I was just tapping with some great friends of mine, and they're going to hit $1 million this year as well. And it was so cool because once we talked about the money and we looked at the numbers, and she's like, she has a specific date she wants it by. It was boom, all of a sudden things started moving, and it was like, this is so doable. So I'd love to talk with you more about this and tap with you on this. I'm going to wrap up here pretty quick. The last affirmation is my money is multiplying. Write that down. My money is multiplying. I think of it like bunnies, right? Like my money is multiplying like rabbits. Like I am looking at my money. I'm spending time with my money. I'm making plans for my money, and I'm making room for magic. And my money is multiplying. So when you do these little things, when you do the tapping, when you do the tracking, when you do the talking about it, you start to spark a momentum. So to end our call today, how are you feeling now? How do you feel now? And I want you to write down any affirmations that come to mind. So how you feel is an affirmation. I feel more confident about money. That's an affirmation. I feel excited about my money goals. That's an affirmation. Sorry, there's a mosquito buzzing around me. My money is multiplying. I am seeing a clear pathway to help my dreams come true. I have a plan. I feel powerful. I feel excited to create more money now. How do you feel about money? This is an affirmation. On the positive or negative side of things, how you feel is and can be an affirmation. I want to shift my jewelry business into a higher end version and work with more gold and find my perfect audience. I love this. When you get specific and clear, it can create like just these subtle shifts. That's like, oh, that's the thing. And yeah, I agree. Like working with different audiences can just change the game. You know, if you've been selling at one level, it's like, oh, I'm gonna try selling at this other level. You might be pleasantly surprised. I feel comfortable asking for money. Great affirmation. I'm confident my savings plan is very doable. Great affirmation. So how do I feel about money now? Writing that down, feel free to share it. And we're going to tap through some of these affirmations. So I'm going to use your affirmations. If you can write them in the chat, we're going to go through and do them together. I feel excited about creating and receiving it now. Awesome. These are great. Money comes to me from everywhere. Yes, it does, Amanda. I have seen that in your life in real time. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, so go ahead, write them in. We're going to do some tapping to close this off, and I'll send you on your way. So our last round of tapping, we're actually just going to go, I have to get this mosquito. I'm sorry. It's like bit me like 10 times. I'm sitting here. This last round, we're actually going to go right to the top of the head. We're not going to tap on the side of the hand. And this is, you only do this when you're at an affirmation stage in tapping. So I'm going to read these last few. My money goal is achievable and I'm excited to receive it and create it. Amen. Yes, it is. I have this picture in my mind, but maybe it's because of the language difference that it would be complicated. There was this uncle of Donald Duck that was super rich and was constantly swimming in money. And that's the goal. I love it. You can see it. I can see my money goal. Any visuals that come to mind, any details that come to mind. Yeah, let them expand. Okay, so for this last round, we're going to tap on the top of the head and say, I feel much better about my money now. Eyebrow point. I feel comfortable looking at it. Side of the eye. I feel confident in my ability. Underneath the eye, I feel comfortable asking for money. Underneath the nose, I feel confident in my ability to save money. Underneath the mouth, I feel excited about creating and receiving money. Collarbone point, money comes to me from everywhere. Underneath the arms, my money goal is achievable and I'm excited to receive and create it. Underneath the chest, my money goals are more achievable than I realize. Wrist point, I have a plan and I feel powerful. Top of the head, I can see my money multiplying now. Eyebrow point, I can feel new opportunities coming to me. Side of the eye, I am committed to spending time with my money. Underneath the eye, I'm open to new possibilities. Underneath the nose, I set micro money goals. Underneath the mouth, and I celebrate myself every step of the way. Collarbone point, I'm proud of myself for taking time today. Underneath the arms, to look at my money. Underneath the chest, to work with my money. Wrist point, to make a plan for my money. Top of the head, and an overflow of abundance. Eyebrow point is headed its way to me now. Beautiful, good job. Take a nice deep breath. If any of those affirmations stood out to you, you can write them down. You can write down as many affirmations as you want around money and do what we just did. Tap through the points, say them out loud, say them again, say them again, say them again until you start to feel them in your body. You want to feel a resonance in your body. It's like, oh yeah, and then I also feel this and I also feel that. So this is exactly what I did last weekend, and it has just been game changer for me. And I encourage you to try and do it once a week. You know, you're probably going to go through the similar feelings at the beginning, like, oh, this is uncomfortable, or oh, how do I do this? Revisit your goals, spend time with your money goals, spend time tapping with your money. All right, so if you loved this today, I would really invite you to join me in the Millionaire in the Making Mastermind. I'm going to share the wait list. This is my year-long mastermind container. It's the only way to work with me one-on-one throughout the year. And I have different levels this year, so different stages of business for business owners or people that are doing life unconventionally. I mean, tapping is a very different way of building a business, of healing your body, and it works so well. And so over the next year, I am going to take 3 different levels. So if you're at the 6-figure mark, going to 7 figures, there's one stage for that. If you are just about to hit 6 figures, there's a stage for that. Or if you're just at the very beginning and just starting to make money on your own, there's another stage for that. So if you hop on the Millionaire in the Making waitlist, you will get all the information you need. I'm going to do another class next Friday, July 7th, and I'm going to talk all about the mastermind, what it includes, who it's for, and I would love to see you there. If you loved tapping on this today, we're going to do some tapping in that class as well. And yes, Millionaire in the Making for all stages, Allison. Yes, I'm very excited about it. Amanda, it is so, so good. Yes, Amanda has been in the mastermind in the past year. You love being in the mastermind. The one-on-one sessions with Jackie were life-changing, and having the community was so helpful. Yes, thank you, Amanda. And I have watched Amanda manifest all sorts of money this past year. So thank you so much for sharing that. And thank you all for being here with me today. We will share the replay via email. If you have any questions at any time, support@jackiemcdonald.ca. It's a great way to contact support if you need help, if you have questions. And I also am going to do a draw tonight for anyone who shared this class. So if you still want to share afterwards, if you want to share what you loved about it, your insights, tag me on Instagram or on Facebook, or on any platform that we follow each other on. And I'm going to do a draw tonight to win a one-on-one money tapping session with me. So thank you all for coming. Thank you for sharing. Join the Millionaire in the Making waitlist. Come to that class next Friday. We're just cracking open this conversation about money, and I can't wait to keep going with you. All right, bye for now, everyone. Have a great day.